All right, I'm live. Okay. So I am just going to make sure that I can see everyone. All right, here we go. Finally live. Okay. And I can see myself, and YouTube is going to quickly alert people. I'm just going to make sure that I can see. Hi, Zanette. It's Clerics. I know it's typo. It's all good. Hi, Jennifer. Happy Sunday, guys. So nice to kind of be back and doing this with you guys again. Hi, Sharifa. I know it's been last Sunday we didn't do, or I didn't do a live because I was at the cottage with the family, but I'm back today. I literally just got back, I think about an hour or two ago from our trip to Niagara-on-the-Lake. And hi, Leah. Thank you. And I had my first watercolor in the vineyard on Friday, which is why we were at the lake, or Niagara, sorry. And it was a bit of a rough Friday because I left the cottage. We left the cottage at 8 in the morning, and then we had to come home because I had to pick up the bags, and then I had to get some of the bags done. So the bags hadn't come to me yet, which is where I was going to be putting all the supplies for the watercolor. I'm going to show you guys what I came back and had to print out on my Cricut and then do. So I did these little, these are the little black bags, and they have shine on written on it. I realize it's like a mirror effect over here because of the camera, but they turned out really nice, and they were totally worth all that extra effort. And yeah, it was a fabulous event. Loved it. Really, really good reviews, and I cannot wait to kind of, start developing this and maybe kind of doing more of these with other vineyards. So let's just see where that goes. But I wanted to keep you guys in the loop and let you guys know exactly what was happening, which was why I was kind of MIA for a bit. And then also, like, it's summertime, so family vacation time. So if you've been following me on my stories, you've probably seen some of the adventures we've been on as a family after this. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Jill. Thank you, Leah. Yeah, I love my little feathers and the little blue here. So what I'm going to do is, not to make this too long, I am going to swap over so you guys can see my table, and we're going to get right into this. I was going to touch on a couple of other things, but I think let's just keep the chit chat short, and we'll do that for another time. Let's get into the painting. So this is what did I do at the vineyard? So this is what I did at the vineyard because I just wasn't sure how many people were going to be attending that kind of knew watercolor or dabbled in it on any level. And so it was kind of like really hard to maneuver showing people things, and especially if they've never really mixed watercolor before, things like that. So I found myself, what was supposed to be a 40-minute session ended up being like an hour and something. But anyways, I thought we could do something very similar today. This was very, very basic because I kept it basic for the people in attendance, and I think they loved it. There were quite a few men there, and so I didn't want to do flowers just because of that, and they were very, very grateful for that mindfulness on my part. So we're going to try something like this today, and I'm also going to be using some of the paints that I had used at the vineyard, which is the new set of paints that I kind of purchased specifically for the event, and that is the Paul Rubens, and this is what they look like. And I kind of really like how they are or what they are. So I'm gonna pick out the colors. We don't really need this because this is for white night, so I'm gonna put this aside. And we're gonna pick the colors. So I'm going to pick the Permanent Violet, Payne's Gray, Sea Blue for the sky, and then Indian Yellow for our little sun. And then I think I want to do like one more blue just to kind of give the sky a little more of a, not cobalt, let's see, let's just take blue. They have something called just blue, and then there's also Prussian blue. Let's just do blue for now, and we will start. So those are the colors I'm going to be using for today. So feel free to use something similar that you might have. We're typically just doing blues, purples, orange, and like a darker purple or darker blue or black even, or gray. And I'm going to keep these on the side so you can see that. This was something I had done. This was for the ETCHR workshop. I'm just going to switch over my sheet. I am using the ETCHR paper, and this is the opposite of what I had previously. I think this is the hot press because it's nice and smooth. So this is their sketchbook. And I think what I will also do is, instead of making it vertical, I'm going to make this painting horizontal, and we will do that. And I was actually thinking to kind of have like a border so I don't have to take up the whole space happening over here. So I'm just going to get my ruler and pencil. If you have masking, is it masking tape? No. These little guys, what are they called? Tape. Washi tape, that's what it is. Feel free to kind of add that on. I'm just going to do a very, very rough border so I am not taking up all the space over here. In fact, you know what? I'm going to simplify this even more for myself. I'm just going to do half of this sheet and make it vertical. And then this way I am not struggling with trying to finish up the whole scene or whatever, and it'll be a nicer demo for you guys. Alright, so I'm just gonna get this really quickly in so you guys can do the same thing if you like a white border around your painting. And I can see more people are trickling in. Hi Joanne, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. It's been a while. Hi Usha, hi Patty. Hi Gladys, hi Monica. Alright, so there's my like really rough, I don't even know if it's symmetrical. I think it's okay. Here, I'm gonna move it over so I have more room over here for other things. Alright, so here's my colors that I have. Here's my palette by Lisi Arts. For my brushes, I'm going to be using a combination of the #1 mop brush, Da Vinci, and then also I want the #2, but I'm not finding the #2 on my table right now because I literally just got back and I don't have everything on hand. So the #4 is what I'm going to be using for the tiny little weedy things that we're going to be doing. But if you have a tinier brush, feel free to get that #2 in. And then I think just to kind of get some nice arrays of gradients happening, I'm going to use the #8 Princeton as my brush to kind of get in some darker color. So the #1 is going to be more for the wash. #8 is going to be more to get our nice little shadowy areas, and then the #4 is going to be so that we can get some tiny details. All right, there we go. All right, now we can start. I have my water ready right here, and I have paper towel right here as well. And I'm gonna start blending in some colors. We're gonna start off with doing the sky first. And so I'm just gonna move this in ever so lightly here so it's below my face and you guys can see it. And we're gonna start blending some of the sea blue. And I'm just gonna blend that in right here. Paul Rubens, they're actually not very bad at all. I kind of really liked how it worked on my Canson paper. That's what I had used at the winery for just a little bit of the violet for the for my demo, and I didn't end up doing a lot of details on the demo because I had to like walk around between so many tables and like instruct them multiple times because it was almost like a one-on-one at that point, because yeah, it's a fun time. Charcuterie boards were like fantastic. Yeah, I hope we do it again. All right, so I've got my oh wait, I need to get a little bit of the regular blue that I have. Let's just see what color this is. I've not used this, but in case it's something that can go well with the sea blue that I have, then I would like to use it. All right, okay. So we're gonna get in some of the sea blue first, which looks like I think it would be the equivalent of the turquoise, if I'm not mistaken. So this is what it looks like. You can see that. Okay, and then I'm just gonna make sure that this volume on my laptop is all the way down, so you guys are not constantly hearing sounds here that you should not be hearing. And there we go. I can make sure that I can see your comments as well. Perfect. Okay. And then just to kind of see what the the regular blue looks like, I'm going to take the number 8 and just kind of mix that around here. So it's kind of very similar, but just on a lighter, it looks a lot lighter than the sea blue. All right, not bad. I think it might be a good mix. So we're going to try and see how this looks. So I'm going to leave this on here, and we're going to do our wash of sea blue first. Just pretty much at the very beginning. So I am doing it vertical, FYI, since I have divided my sheet. So I'm taking quite a bit of water on my brush, and I'm going to go ahead and start laying down the first bit of color. All right, so here we go. Now I would have liked this to be a lot lighter, but that's okay. What I'm going to do is take some water on my brush and just smoothen this out to make it lighter. And then washing off most of the color from my brush, I'll go back in and just smooth this out so it goes from like dark to light, or to a white, whatever you want to call it. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this brush, and I'm just going to add a couple of like strands or strokes of these blues in here while this area is still damp, even taking some of the darker color from the top. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of just blend it in. And I think I want it to be like darkest at the top and then kind of blending down to like a lighter blue. I'm not using Canson Excel today, guys. This is the ETCHR sketchbook. Oh yes, I will take a picture of the Canson, but the links are in the description. There should be a picture there, and so feel free to look at that. It is the Excel. This one here, as I mentioned, this is ETCHR. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and try and get some like lighter ones, lighter strokes here, and then going back in with my mop, I'm gonna smoothen this out so that it doesn't look too vibrant. Smoothing, 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 making sure we got a nice blend. Just want it to blend in nicely. Now I think I'm gonna go back in at the top, and then just kind of add some darker strokes here. So like layering some more color so I can get some nice darker bits happening. So like a nice rich blue at the top. Now I had different, at the winery, I had different interpretations of the sky. So if you feel like you want your clouds to be a lot more fluffier and rounder, absolutely go ahead and try that. I am trying more like linear, flowy skies than anything else. And then I'm just going to take, if you want to take off any color for like some nice whiter looking variants or lighter looking variants in your sky, just take a brush and with just water on it, just kind of go ahead and move that color around. So I'm just going to kind of go ahead and kind of add these little strokes of color or lack of color thereof in there, so you can see how it kind of gives us that nice, what's the word I'm looking for, almost like negative space. You're kind of taking away color, and in the process you're also kind of mixing some of the color that you have laid on here. Now I'm not standing to see this, so I don't really see it very, very well, but I'm just going to wing this and smoothen things out. Also, for anyone like just joining into this live, I realize that the thumbnail is misleading, but again, I just got back from vacation and I didn't have time to change that. And also, I typically do florals on a Sunday. This is the first time that I'm actually venturing on something slightly different. So I'm just doing the same thing kind of all over the place, just to kind of get that same effect coming from the top all the way down. All right, I think I'm good with that. Now we're gonna leave a little bit of this space damp, and we're gonna go ahead and do the violet part, which is gonna be the lower bit, but we're not going all the way to the bottom. Let me just wash off these brushes really quickly. All right, so wash these off, and I'm gonna get some of that violet very lightly onto my mop brush here. So I think what I want to do first is get a very light version of it on my brush, do a wash. So we're going to do something slightly different from the top that we did, and then I'll go in and get more of the violet and kind of add that in. All right, so we're going to start off with the violet right here. I'm leaving a little bit of space at the bottom because I think we're going to go in with that Payne's gray. And we're going to blend that in with the violet. So you see how we've got that like white space happening there. We're going to place our sun, our Indian yellow sun over there. Okay. So I'm just kind of roughly trying to push in the shades of mauve that we've mixed up here. Perfect. Now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and get, using the same brush, I'm going to get some of that violet and going to just add it to the bottom. And I just love seeing the flares. If you guys have done the Hello Clarice challenge, the first two of them were pretty much mixing the gradients, and yeah, those were the most fun. I know people had a lot of issues with that because it was like the blending wasn't quite the best thing to kind of get used to, maybe, especially if you're new to watercolor and you're not quite sure what it's capable of doing. I don't know, but I loved it. It was great, and I think over time people started really liking it too. So we're doing kind of a similar thing here. But again, just like the top, we want the brightest or the darkest purple to be at the bottom. So I'm just swishing that around. And I'm liking like that flare up of purple happening over here, just kind of going in. I'm gonna try and add a couple of strokes here, and then we'll take the number 8 and kind of blend, see if we can get some blending before it fully dries up. There we go, just blend that in. Got a little bit of purple in our whitey area there, so I'm just gonna smooth that out with just water on my brush. Smoothing it out so we have a nice transition. I kind of like that, so I'm gonna leave it that way. Just adding a couple of more strands of this purple to like intensify this bit here more. And I think what we're going to do right away is get some of the Payne's gray and start from the bottom and just allow it to kind of seep into the purple, okay? Let me get some of the Payne's gray now. Yes, right here. I know L Messenger has a question. Hi, Jess. So I'm getting some of the Payne's gray now. Hi, Lois. Yes, I keep ETCHR for Sundays typically because it's like a special day, it's live, so it's like nicer paper. This is 100% cotton. I'm gonna use the same brush to mix this in here, by the way. And yeah, like I typically like to say, if you can get amazing results with something like Canson, which is like more economical, I think it's great paper still to practice and whatever, then imagine what you can do with the real stuff. So that's my opinion. Others might disagree with it, but this is me. All right, so I'm just going to get, and thank you for the compliment, that's really sweet. I have used arches as well. Hi, Andy. All right, I'm dampening this area here right below, and you can see some of that purple is getting reactivated. And as soon as this area is damp, I'm going to go in and add the Payne's gray. You guys can see, right? Yes, you can see. Awesome. I'm going to add the Payne's gray right here. And you can see, because I did not wash off my purple, it looks like a dark purple, which I kind of don't mind, but it looks like I need more Payne's gray. I didn't have enough. Let me get some more, because I would like it to be like a nice rich transition. Probably would have helped if the purple was a tad bit more damp, so then we'd have a transition, but that's okay. We will ignite that soon enough. And I'm just going to make sure that the bottom is the most intense, so I'm just going back in with some more of that gray and just adding some strokes. Right, and now I think after this bit, what we're going to do is I'm going to take the number 8 and just give it a light with just water on it. I'm just going to go ahead and try and mix this border that we have here. Try and smoothen it out if I can, very loosely. And you can see as I'm kind of going higher with my strokes, it is getting lighter. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my number 4 and I'm going to start creating these tiny little what's the word? What is the word? Tiny little strands of like, it's almost like grass. And we're gonna start giving this little edge here that's still damp, that grassy look. So again, I'm getting more of the Payne's gray and using my number 4, I'm gonna get like a nice enough color and then start giving it that pokey look, pokey haired look, whatever you wanna call it. Grassy look. By the way, did you guys catch the roses tutorial that came out on Saturday? I know I didn't give enough heads up on Instagram or pretty much anywhere because I was busy with being away and the watercolor stuff, the Vineyard stuff and whatever, the event. But I hope you guys caught that. I know quite a few of you were waiting to kind of see that video, and patrons kind of got to see that, I think a week earlier. Yeah, it was when I left on vacation. Let me know in the comments if you saw that. Okay, all right, so I'm just going to, I would like to go from down up, but you can always start from the top to the bottom as well, I guess. I'm gonna just slightly turn this over because I can't quite put my hand all the way across here, but I'm gonna try. Try from down up. So this is where it would be nice to have number 2, brush number 2, as opposed to the number 4. I think it would just be a nicer, thinner strands that you can kind of get as you're doing these little jaggedy edges. And that's why I was like, if you have a number 2, number 1, any of those thin brushes, go for it. I think it'll be a nicer touch and effect. So I'm gonna go from the top up and just kind of extend this. So I want the little jaggedy edges before we go in and then add our nice longer strands of grass and weed, or even the wildflowers. You guys have been doing the wildflowers for the past few weeks because that's what I have been putting out. Let's try and do those wildflowers with just using like a Payne's gray or a black or whatever you're using right now to get this silhouette of shrubbery. And I'm just gonna go really, really jaggedy right now using this. I see Patty's comment, being a patron has its perks. Yes, it does. Also, I think the new thing that I have started, and I think that it works really well because I just want to offer the patron something a little bit more, is having like a little bit of an after extended video on how you can enhance your tutorials based on what I've done, or the tutorials that I put out, like a 5-minute video on how you can enhance it with maybe metallics or something else. So I hope you guys are kind of enjoying that as well. Trying to keep it fresh and exciting and a little bit more interesting. All right, so I think I'm almost done with my little jaggedy bits here. I'm just gonna add a little bit more of the darker hues because it looks very purpley on my end, so I'm just gonna like dab some of that nice Payne's gray, and I think we definitely need more. We need more Payne's gray, guys. I keep using up all the Payne's gray. Yes, keep using Canson, and it sounds like you're really intrigued by it and you want to keep going. I would definitely keep going. If that's what Jenna says too, I totally agree. The only way things will click is if you keep at it. If you don't keep at it, then how are you ever, like, it's not going to click, right? You need to be doing stuff for you to have that aha moment, because if you're not, then you're probably not going to reach that aha moment. So this is darker now, this Payne's gray, and I'm just kind of overlapping some more. I think this is where you could like maybe even go slightly taller in your grassy effects here, and then maybe different directions even, instead of just going short grassy looks. That makes any sense. And notice I'm like, they're not even fully extending or reaching to the bottom. Some of them are kind of getting cut off, and that's great because like you want to have that look of looseness without giving too much detail, right? And different directions, mind you, so I'll maybe have one going this way, maybe one this way, and you can see the shake in my hand. I'm just going to keep on dabbing this darker hue here. Just to kind of keep that nice darker look at the bottom. And who knows, because it's so broad at the bottom, you could even maybe go in with gouache and do some lettering in there perhaps. If you're going to maybe frame this later on, I don't know, or make it a card even, like it's up to you. Just ideas on how you can kind of maximize on the space without really, you know, changing it up too much. Just dragging some around, adding some more tidbits. Perfect. So now we're ready to kind of go ahead and do the next thing. I'm going to allow this to dry just a little bit. Let's tackle the sun, or yeah, the sun. Let's tackle the sun. So at this point, if you want to do a full sun, I think that would totally make sense. If you want to do a half sun, so it kind of looks like it's hidden amongst some other horizon stuff happening there, you can totally try that too. I'll leave that up to you. What I am going to do is I'm going to take my number 8, and I just want to make sure that my number 4 is nice and washed off, because I'll use my number 4 to put the Indian yellow for the sun, and I'm going to use my number 8 to draw or paint out the circular area for my sun. And so just with water on my brush, actually let's get some of the Indian yellow on the palette really quickly, just to be sure that we're ready. You know, gotta be ready. All right, and now I'm gonna go ahead and do the sun right about here. Okay, maybe the sun is gonna be huge. So I'm just dampening this area in like a circular, rough circular kind of manner. So it's just water on my brush. I'm leaving a little bit of like white space, or trying to. So see if you can do that. All right, my area is nice and damp, kind of moving all that water all around. Excuse me. Now I'm going to take my number 4, getting some of the Indian yellow. We're going to now do the sun. And here we go. This is the part that I love, because again, you get that nice blend of color. Mind you, you might get some pooling if you have a lot of water pooling. You can see some areas of mine have water pooling there. That takes a little bit of getting used to, and that's okay. Look at me, I'm still struggling with that. And again, I just want to say, guys, if I've not said it enough in recent times, I love that you guys give me compliments and tell me, oh, it's so nice, like I love your work and stuff. Thank you so much. I am not a pro. I do this for fun. I did not study art in school. I went to school for design. Art is something that I've always just kind of gravitated towards. And in fact, tomorrow's my son's birthday. It's going to be about 7 years since I first decided to kind of go into the art store and purchase watercolors, just because I wanted to try my hand at it. And I didn't end up using what I purchased 7 years ago until 2 years in. Yeah. So that is what? 5 years ago. There we go. All right. Okay. Enough babbling. And I'll tell you why I made this comment. I'm going to go ahead now because my son's there and I kind of like what it looks like. But I want to give the horizon a little bit of like a yellowy effect. So I'm going to take the number 4 and with just water on it, I am going to go ahead and try and just extend a little bit of like strokes, touching some of the sun and then just kind of lightly going off to the side. And I kind of want to give it that yellowish glow in the horizon without making it look like it's the sea. So we're not kind of trying to do this at the very bottom and swish, swish, swish at the bottom that way. But we just want to give that glow like it is hidden in the clouds, it's in the sky, and the glow from the sun is kind of happening off in the horizon. And I think I'll just like really blend it off here and leave it at that. I kind of like the look of the orangey yellowy color because orange is the complementary color to blue and then yellow is the complementary color to purple. So it's almost like an in-between juxtaposition. No, yes, juxtaposition, yes. I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm just gonna add a little bit more of the orange, or if you have like another color shade of the orange, like a brighter, darker hue, I just want to push it to some of the edges so that it gives you that nice, it doesn't look flat, it gives you a nice rendition of like dark, light, different areas in the sun, right? And I'm trying to leave white space in my little area here too. And I don't want to overwork this too much because leave it, Clarice, leave it. I like to talk to myself as well. All right, okay, I'm going to leave it at that, and that's what we're going to leave it at. I wonder if you added a little bit of purple to kind of make it look like the purple skies are blending in. If just going to get a little bit of the leftover purple. Let's just try something while I have you guys here. And if I just get some of that purple flowing in. I don't know, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Am I botching it up? Do you think it works? I'll add a little bit of that from the ends here and there so then it just doesn't look like the sun is sitting straight in the sky. And then I'm just going to smoothen this area out. Smoothing the edges too. There we go. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. And now we're going to go back into doing our tall blades of grass, and then we're done. Then we are honestly done. So taking number 4, I am going to go ahead and get some of the Payne's Gray. And I want to make sure that the consistency, like it's nice and dark. Maybe like a 30-70 consistency, but this time like 70% is the paint and like 30% water, so that we get a nice dark hue. Or if you have black ink pens, I think even that would work, or if you want to use gouache, that would work too. Yeah, any of those options would really work. Okay. So now I just want to make sure the tip of this brush is also pretty pointed before I kind of continue doing this. And now, so we can kind of go ahead and do these strands and make them kind of taller, so you can even have them going into the sun if you need, because this image could be something of perspective in the sense that maybe the image is from the ground up, and that's how you're seeing it. That's why the blades of grass are taller than the sun, for instance. All right, so try and get creative, and let's just see what we come up with. So I'm going to do a couple of strands off on this end, and I'm going to do some very thin, like, indications of like the leaves that are coming off from these guys. I'm going to do some that look like wheat almost, or pampas grass. Can you guys see that? Just want to make sure. Again, it would have been nicer if I had my number 2. I think it would have been, I would have gotten like nice thinner results, but we work with what we have in this time. And then we're gonna go ahead and do some even on this end. And then you can just even do like taller blades of grass, just, or blades of something, just kind of all over the place. And remember what I said, like varying sizes of grass and weed, and you're pretty much layering everything on as you go. Yeah, let's make this one the weedy type. Right there, another one. I'm just gonna add a couple of like random dots at the end of these so that it looks looser, and we're even gonna do a splatter at the end, so remind me in case I forget that we need to do a splatter, okay? Just gonna do some shorter looking ones here that look like they've got grass like coming out, or sorry, leaves happening right there, and we've got some nice framing going on. And like I mentioned, we've been doing quite a few different of those wildflowers. So if you guys want to go ahead and try your hand at any of those wildflowers, please give it a shot. Let's see what you do. Let's do one of those yarrow type. Let's see how that turns out for me. I'm gonna do one. I'll make it taller just because it's one of those wider florals, right? Needs a little bit more space, and then just like a couple of dots all around it. And the best thing about this is that it's all silhouette, and so you're not quite looking for blending of color or anything like that, right? So it kind of makes your job a tad easier. Some dots over here, off into the sun. I think dots like add something really pretty in any painting. It's like polka dots and stripes in fashion. I think I've mentioned this a few times as well. I'll do one over here on this side, so it kind of just looks like it's off into this blade of wheat or grass or whatever you want to call it. There, just getting some more dampness on my brush, and we're going to go ahead, create some more. I'll do a tall one here. There we go. So this is the idea. I want you to kind of go ahead and create your own, do your own thing. Let's see what you do. Let's see what you come up with. And if you guys end up finishing this whole thing, I would love to see it on Instagram. You guys, most of you follow me on there anyway, but if you're new, my handle is at Hello Clarice G. And just tag me. I want to see it, guys. I want to see it. And also this, I hope you found this easy enough to kind of follow along and do. That was the whole idea. So we're doing a little bit of blending, and then you're kind of learning how to do something pretty, but at the same time, it's like doing very basics of watercolor to kind of get to something finished like this. Right? Cindy, go for it if you want the full moon. And thanks, Jill, for responding. Glad you guys like this. I wasn't quite sure how everyone would receive this just because it is so different from my typical florals. But hey, it's nice to switch things up once in a while, right? I think so. Also, I was mentioning about not doing this, this is not what I do for a living, guys. I don't really make money out of doing videos on YouTube, or this is not something I went to school for, because I had a very interesting comment made on the rose video. And I was like, I just want to make sure that people know that I do not do this. Like, I didn't go to school for this. So I know there's a lot of really great artists out there. And I am friends with a lot of them. A lot of them have been very inspirational to me. I've even made a post this morning because I was inspired to kind of acknowledge all the wonderful inspiration I've gotten from other artists. Like, this didn't happen to me overnight. Like, I didn't wake up and I was like, I know how to do watercolor. I've been watching a lot of artists. They've been amazing, so helpful with everything that they've learned. And I'm so grateful for people who take time to do stuff like that. So I just want to say, guys, like, you know, if you're looking to be an artist, I am maybe not the person, because I do this for fun and I just look to do this to have fun. And so if you want to do this for therapy, you want to just be satisfied with creating something pretty, I am your girl. So please keep that in mind. All right, so I think we're almost done. I'm going to leave this as is. I think it could use a bit more of like a lighter hue of blades of grass, but yeah, you know what, let me just do it really quickly here, since just like here and there, and then we'll do the splatter, and then we're done. I promise we're done then. I didn't do any of the other florals that I mentioned. That's okay. You guys can try it. All right, perfect. Now I'll do the splatter, and then I can just look to see if anyone has any comments or questions. All right, here's my splatter. Very basic. I'm using the number 4 so it can be smaller. I should probably cover this side so it doesn't get over there, and maybe even the sun a bit. But that's okay. You know me. Maybe even this way. Yeah, I think at the bottom, just to have a whole bunch of these little dots at the bottom so it looks like there's a lot of stuff happening in between, I think that would be nice. So I'm just like really concentrating in that area. Kind of like what that looks like. Perfect. Not gonna do any more. This is it. We're leaving it at this. Right. Okay, so I'm going to center this so you guys can see the end result as a whole, and then I'm just going to quickly see if there's any questions that I need to address or comments, and then we can go from there. You guys are so sweet. Thank you, Patty. Yes, variety is good, and I'm glad. And again, like everything that we do, typically you can use the same techniques to create other things. So I'm hoping to kind of really make you use what we learn, and then you're like, one day I want to paint a lollipop. Go ahead and paint it. Like, you never know, you could probably use the same skills. Pretty sure you could, and create something. Just try something new. Thank you, Jill. I think I'm not that great at scenery, kind of scenic views, but I think I'm going to incorporate more, because a few people have been asking, and I think it's a nice challenge for me, and we learn together, and I think that's good. Carol, I'm so glad. I'm glad you enjoyed this. Yes, there's something nice about blending that nice blue with the purple and then going darker. In fact, I think after the video's done, I might even go darker at the bottom just to give that nice dark to light. Jill, you are too sweet. You are such an inspiration to me as well. Strong woman. That's so cute, Cindy. You should have taken a picture. I would have loved to see what that moment looked like. That sounds hilarious. Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Kathy. Thanks, Monica. Listen, guys, I am so glad to be sharing what I know, but I just wanted to put it out there. I am not a pro. I do this for fun. What I show you is what I how I interpret it in my head. Jennifer, thank you. That is really sweet. I used to do acrylic in high school, and I actually really loved acrylic because I love the whole, like, you can paint on top of each other. And then I'm really considering getting into acrylic again, because I don't know if you guys follow Stephanie LeBron. I don't know her name, but she's got, I think it's a German name. She's from Ontario. Beautiful, beautiful florals. Like, love it. And I really want to try that. You're welcome, Usha. I'll see you guys, some of you on here, at the Rose Zoom class that we're having on Friday. I'm going to start posting about that on Instagram. So again, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram and you're new and you're watching me for the first time, follow me, guys. I do a lot of other stuff like this. Jennifer, I'm glad. Have I ever seen your stuff, Jennifer? I'd love to see it. Send it to me. Oh, Cindy, you're welcome. All right, guys. Okay. I'm glad you guys like this. I'm satisfied with how it turned out. I hope you guys are satisfied with how yours turned out. And I'm going to bid you adieu, and a wonderful, wonderful Sunday with the rest of your family and friends and loved ones. And I'm going to do the same. Probably going to go and relax, because it's been an intense but wonderful weekend, and it's continuing to be the weekend. Tomorrow's my son's birthday. He turns 7. Yes, Jennifer, either on Instagram or just email it to me, or on Facebook, whatever suits your fancy. All my social media stuff is off to the side, or my email is in the description below. All right, guys, I won't prolong anymore. Have a lovely Sunday, and we'll chat soon. All right, bye.